Okay, can you hear me now? So Dina, do you hear me now? Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So let's start. Let's start with centering ourselves in the heart. So I invite you to find a comfortable sitting position with your back straight. And then gently we close the eyes. And we gently allow the awareness to drop in the heart center, in the middle of the chest, slightly to the right. Allowing everything to be as it is, dropping any contraction or resistance. We become aware of that part of ourselves that is always present, always and already. And we perceive the aliveness of the heart. A sense of spaciousness, an embracing love. And let's settle in this part of our being. Let's settle in the heart. And keeping the awareness of the heart, we can gently now open the eyes. Namaste. So the topic of tonight's gathering is love. And I will invite you to listen to this talk from exactly this space that we just reached, that we rest just for this few moments. It is an invitation to try to come back as much as possible to the heart, and also if it's possible to listen from the heart. And if you don't understand very much what this means, simply instead of resting in the area of the heart, just drop the attention in the heart. And so I would love to start with a poem of a quote actually from Rumi. And from there, starting our talk. Rumi says, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that we have built against it. And this is exactly what I would love to explore with you tonight. We can say that love is something that is so familiar with all of us. When we talk about love, it's so tangible. And yet we can put love, even if it's impossible to put in any kind of mental understanding, but we see that there is...
Can you talk about that?
Yes, I just received. Can you hear me, or I should talk a bit louder?
Should we put your earphone?
Sorry for all these technical... If it's okay right now, if I talk like this, can you hear me well?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, so I come closer. Okay. Thank you, Sabine. So, this is like, what I was saying is like that love is such a vast topic, and in the same time is something so intimate within ourselves. And when we think about love, when we see love, we can perceive it, let's say, in three different levels. It can be a personal love, or it can be a love that is more universal, or we can talk about love as that essence that we are. And I would love to explore tonight with you the third kind of love, is love that is exactly our true nature, is exactly what we are. So as Rumi said, it's not something that actually we can create, it's not something that we have to add. There is nothing that we have to do, anything actually that we have to do to be that love, because this is our nature. But what we have and what we can and what we should do is to take away all the barriers. And barriers in general are thoughts, are kind of ideas, are every identification that we have with the conditional, with the limited self that we are. So also the time when we are resting in future or in past, this is a barrier for love. Every time that we meet a human being, and instead of meeting the essence, and instead of meeting the purity of the existence of the other being, we are meeting our thoughts about this person, we are meeting our memories, or we are meeting our expectation about the future, then we create a separation. So indeed, personal love can and should be absolutely a gateway for this universal love, and then a gateway to this essence. But sometimes it's a little bit, it can be more difficult because the mind, it is on the way. But did you still hear me? Yes? Can you hear me? Okay. I think there is a little bit of delay. So, from France to Mexico. So, indeed, an act of love is an act of awareness. When we touch to that reality, this awareness of the awareness, or in this sense of pure existence, there is just an embrace and loving presence. Yeah? Like awareness doesn't judge, awareness doesn't not reject. Awareness simply observe and embrace. And the same is love. Love is that background of our being that is constant presence. Yet can be called by many different limitations of and identification, but when we go deep within, when there is this longing for truth, we realize that this longing for truth is exactly this longing for love, this longing to be loved, and the longing of loving as well. So many times we look for this love outside, while so many sages are telling us just look within, because this is the way. And when you find the core of your being, then this love can spread everywhere. So in the spiritual path, when we talk about love and spiritual path, there are usually two movements. There is the movement of negation that anyhow is really necessary, like I'm not this, I'm not that. Going in the quietness of our mind, in the stillness of our heart, and realizing I'm not my mind, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my sensation, I'm not my story, I'm not neither this body. And this is a step that is fundamental, but in the same time, to arrive into this sense of unity, to really, like this negation, is bringing us to a affirmation, the affirmation that yes, I am pure consciousness. But if we stop here, this is limited, because yes, I'm not my body, yes, I'm not my emotion, I'm not my story, I'm not my sensation, but then something is missing. And this is a little bit Nisargadatta Maharshi, with this beautiful quote he was saying, wisdom says, I am nothing, love says, I am everything. And within these two, my life flows. And this must be a realization that we encounter even inside, because sometimes we can use meditation, and I had also the experience, there is such a beautiful quiet space, and it's very important to know that there is this space in our being that we can always rest, that is not touched by anything. But at one point, the realization that I am not this, or better, I am not only this. And so there are two movements. There is the movement that is withdrawing from suffering. I'm seeing suffering, and it's better to go back to my heart and just rest in stillness. I don't want to see this suffering. Or there is another movement that is the movement of love, then go close and near especially to the part of ourselves and also in the external world that are needed, that need the attention. And it is exactly this love and this unconditional attention that liberates them. And so this is also self-love, and it can feel really abstract, but I'm sure that all of you and all of us can really perceive what I'm saying. There are certain parts inside of our being that if we will never accept, they will keep coming back. And this part of ourselves, they simply need this love. They simply need this awareness. And so love gives us the capacity to fully say yes, to come closer. And love is really a longing for unity. Love is the direction of unity. Instead of me here and you there, love unites everything. And so even in our internal process, especially when there are parts of ourselves that we cannot accept, they are the part that need the most are yes. And this is a little bit related to what we just did in the beginning, this taking a moment of simply resting and allowing everything to be. We are not creating anything, we are not imposing love, we are simply rediscovering. We are simply rediscover a part of our being that is always present, and is always aware. And by doing that, we affirm a yes. We drop all the resistance. We let go of everything that we resist, even the resistance of the resistance, and this open us to a deeper dimension, a dimension of pure existence, because in this dimension there is nothing to change, there is nothing to resist, there is nothing to cling on. So I remember once I read the story of Ramana Maharshi, where I guess all of you know about Ramana. He's an incredible sage that taught and shared his wisdom about self-inquiry. Daily is that a full self-realizing, Indian full self-realizing, and there was basically, he was just doing one of his books, the story where one person who was indeed before part of the community had some friction, and he decided, and the administration kicked him out. And so he start to be like standing in front of the gate, and he start to shout about really bad things about Ramana, about the ashram for days and weeks and indeed months. And so when the administration of the ashram went to Ramana and asked, Ramana, what we should do with him? You know, they were kind of frustrated. And Ramana simply said, make sure that he's well fed and it's well dressed, that it's cold, that it doesn't feel cold. And indeed, when we feel this, when we hear this story, or at least when I heard this story, you know, there is such a vibration in the heart that say, wow, such an unconditional love. But then, with some retreat and also some contemplation, I realized that Ramana was giving a teaching that maybe was even more deep. It was more not only how we treat the people inside, the same person is also inside of us. The same, it's like a part of our consciousness that says, why you did that? That was so bad. You will never be able to do that. All these kind of mental energies that are constantly draining us. And usually what we do, we push them away, yeah? Or even part of our consciousness that are telling us maybe there is something that needs to be changed, there is something that has to be looked at, yeah? And usually what we do, how we react, pushing them away. Like, and what happens then? Then the person starts to scream even louder, you know, the emotion and the sensation and the mind. And so in this sense, it is also a more subtle teaching. It's like, look inside yourself, find this part of yourself that you cannot accept, and give it shelter and food. In the sense, give that love, that unconditional love. And this for sure brings so much humility, you know, so much humbleness, to have the courage to go within and look at a part of ourselves, and look also at our humanity, and embrace it takes so much courage and humbleness, because to be able to say yes to this part of our being, it is such an important step, because then in this sense, love doesn't stay as an abstract thing, but start to really transform our life, and really start to transform ourselves, and then we become a vessel for this love to simply manifest also through our action and through our way of being. So, and for this, something that can really support, like for the training of this love, because indeed love is really this longing for this unity, and it is a choice. It's not something that we can create, but for sure it's something that we can choose to cultivate. It is something that we can choose to give attention to. In any moment we have a choice. We can choose love, or we can not choose love. We can choose to identify and react and create a lot of suffering to ourselves and to others, or we can choose to let go and surrender and allow everything to be. And when usually we talk about this topic, there is a lot of resistance. You know, what about surrender? What I should surrender, but if I was right? And it's very important just to simply clarify that we are not surrendering like the situation itself, so that we can still not agree with some people, we can still want to that a situation will have to move to create more harmony, but within there is not a contraction, within there is not a negation of another human being simply because maybe it doesn't have our same opinion. And so this process starts to transform us. And in this we can also talk a little bit about Bhakti Yoga. This yoga of devotion and love. Bhakti actually means mutual love. And in Bhakti Yoga, the devotion, this love for a deity, or the love for the essence of what we are. When we worship a deity, we realize that the deity is not outside, it's just a resonance of our own attributes. So when we love when we love this manifestation of consciousness, what we do, we use this love as a tool, we use this love as a path, and at the same time as an aim. So Bhakti Yoga is really the coronation of this love, and can allow us to really to surrender more, to become even more humble, to trust, to have more courage. Because if not, sometimes the spiritual path can become also a little bit too dry, and we can start to also to create a little bit of crystallization of the ego, I. But when we put everything at the feet of our beloved, at the feet of that essence that we are, then things start to get purified more and more and more and more. So love is something that is our core, is something that we don't need to go anywhere to find. It is something that is always present, and all of us know that when we actually choose love over our limitation, the fulfillment is immense. Yeah? Even if to drop our limitation, or if we drop our sense of right, sometimes it feels difficult, but then when this is happening, then there's so much openness. And so love, it can start as an emotion, it can start as a longing, an intuition, that actually there is a sense of unity. You know, as I was saying before, these two movements. There is a movement that feels there is suffering, and I am drawn away from, or I don't want to be there. I see your suffering, and please don't touch my pure consciousness with your suffering, you know. But then there is another movement that comes with maturity and comes with deepening into this stillness. It's the same stillness that is guiding us, that it becomes this stillness that is vibrating, becoming then really love, that is allowing us to go even closer, yeah? And all of us, we know that we can choose. When we see somebody suffering, we can choose to run away because we don't have time, or we can choose simply to hug somebody inside. And so sorry, just see. So, what also the sage are telling us, which one is the best way to really deepening in this love and to recognize ourselves as this love, is to practice love. To practice love and through self-inquiry, to really, as Miss Agatha was saying, to go deep within and recognizing that I am nothing. Everything that I believe to be, they actually don't really exist. And in the same time, I am all of them as well. And the same suffering that I see outside is the suffering that I am inside. And to really transform and evolve in our life is not about running away, but it's about bringing our awareness, bringing our detachment and attention, this pure embrace in every part of our being that we are running away from. And this will create so much more a sense of transparency of our being. And this will also allow us to experience actually love that is universal. So it's not a love that is anymore personal, it's me loving you, but it's just love is in the air, as our teacher Sanjananda says many times. No? Love is in the air. But then, through this love is in the air, we realize I am the source of this love. And actually the source of everything is this love. So the invitation is to really become aware of everything that doesn't allow us to love, everything that is on the way, every thought, every kind of sensation, emotion that creates just more and more separation, and to try to drop them. Allow them to be, but stop giving attention. And this is Bhakti Yoga as well. Bhakti Yoga is this total devotion, total dedication just to the deeper part of our being. We choose that instead of being lost in thoughts and in drama and in future and in past, we drop everything and we dedicate our entire being to this same essence as much as possible, because of course it's also a learning process. And so this is an invitation to take away everything that is on the way and to cultivate love to choose. And how also we can cultivate love more and more is to say yes. Yes inside of our being. When we feel contraction, when we feel something that we are kind of rejecting, internally it is yes. I allow it to be. I allow even this resistance. I allow even this part of myself that really I am not happy with. And in this allowance, the alchemy comes. In this allowance, there is a change. There is a beautiful, actually is a prayer that says, please Lord, please God, give me the strength to change what I can change. Give me the courage to accept what I cannot change, and give me the wisdom to understand the difference. And it's a little bit the sense and the core of this surrender, that is a surrender that comes with love. So it's not a blinding yes, it's not a passive thing, but I see that there are certain things that cannot be changed, and so internally it is a yes. And then, of course, all the intention to change what we can change, and yet is wisdom to understand which one is the difference. And so this is what I want to share with you today. I don't know, maybe I will ask only if you have some questions, and if not, we can close with a short meditation on love. Okay. So I invite you again to sit in a comfortable sitting position and closing your eyes. And if the awareness is not anymore in the heart center, so we bring it back in the middle of the chest, slightly to the right. Again, exploring a dimension that is always and already here. A dimension that is embracing a sense of pure existence. And now we start to observe the quality of this awareness of this existence. We see that embrace everything. There is nothing that is left behind. Any sound, every thought, every sensation is embracing this space of awareness. And now, we keeping this sense of openness, we can think about someone that we really love so much. Somebody that opens our heart with a simple thought. It can be even an animal or anyone that is close to you. And we evoke this sense of love, and we feel love. Our own being is opening, the body, the muscles relax. There is a sense of joy, vibration in the heart. And now keeping the awareness in the sensation, we drop the images of this person, of this animal, and we simply remain with this sense of love. And we try to find the source of this love. From where does love come from? And gently now, keeping the awareness of the heart and also this remembrance of love, this presence, we can gently open the eyes. So, thank you all so much for being here, and I wish you a beautiful night or a beautiful day. Namaste.